Welcome back to the Gardening with Joy and Holly radio show. Happy you're with us. A lot of content in this week's show, as we provide every week. And what we would suggest that a problem, Holly, a lot of people have is overwatering or underwatering whatever they're growing. And that includes trees, bushes, and shrubs. And if you're tired of trying to do the guesswork, Tree Diaper will have the answer for you. Tree Diaper has the answer for you.
How do you water your trees? You likely drag a hose over to it, let the hose run for about a half hour. Overwatering or underwatering your trees, stop doing that. Increase your watering efficiency and save money with Tree Diaper. No hoses to drag around constantly. Tree Diaper is a revolutionary watering system that slowly releases stored rainwater when trees need it. If the Tree Diaper is filled with water from rain or when you water and slowly releases water over 3 weeks, Tree Diaper will improve the way you water your plants every time it rains. Tree Diaper recharges, made in the USA. Check out all the sizes they have available. Tree Diaper will keep your trees happy. Visit treediaper.com. That's treediaper.com.
Well, talking about trees, shrubs, and bushes, let's talk about what we need to do in order to best utilize the trees that are on our property. What I mean by is techniques in which things that we need to do to our trees. Holly?
Yeah, so the first thing, this is spring tree
Springtime,
care.
yeah. And if you're not doing it, you want to do it as soon as possible before buds begin to appear on the tree.
That's very important. So the first thing you want to do is you want to inspect your trees. Now, you may have a tree that doesn't look like it's going to make it, and then you would want to remove that tree, but you also want to look at the trees that...
And that's part of the deal.
Part of the deal, yep. But you also want to look at the trees that are fine, and you want to look for dead, damaged, diseased limbs. Maybe there's like a deadwood, frostbite situation, lesions, things like that.
And if the tree is really, really tall, obviously you're not, going to jump on a ladder or have a bucket truck come up and take care of those things. We're talking about things that are manageable in a safe manner. That is, if you've got a small fruit tree or ornamental tree that is, only 10 feet tall, whatever, that you can get with a telescoping saw or snip, that's what we're referring to. We're not saying that you should shimmy up the tree like a deer hunter and try to remove things that you should not be doing because it's unsafe.
Right.
Because people die. That's a real thing. Don't be stupid.
No, we don't want you to be stupid. Or, even worse, you get injured.
And hiring somebody to do it, that bill is a lot cheaper than the ambulance ride, the emergency visit, and the hospital stay.
And then at this point, these days, you might have to take off work.
Yeah.
So you don't know. So
think 4 times, make 1 cut.
Exactly. So hiring an arborist, there's nothing wrong with that.
Certified arborist.
You want a certified arborist.
You don't want somebody that's in just a Jimmy's tree service and they make a bad cut and it falls in the house and they get in the car and drive away and you don't know anything about them.
Right.
Make sure they're a certified arborist and they have a license and you've seen that license. And this is not a joke. We've had people on the program guests on the program who stress this and know stories that are like that, where the person made an oops, they disappeared, and the homeowner's now responsible for all the damage that non-educated person did.
Right. Even just not guests, even when we were doing like garden talks, people who came to those. So that's one thing is you want to prune, inspect, and then, get professional help where necessary. The other thing is you want to make sure the trees have enough water for a solid growing season. Most places this is not an issue in the spring, but you want to consider this throughout the season. But maybe you discovered last year that tree is an area that doesn't get enough water.
Tree
possibly.
diaper.
Yeah.
Tree diaper. Yep. Tree diaper will fix that problem for you. They got multiple sizes available for any size tree that you got at treediaper.com. So ensure you have plenty of water. And in that instance, with the tree diaper, you can use mulch, and mulch is very important for a variety of reasons if you mulch correctly.
Right. So mulch is important because it helps suppress weeds, and then it also helps keep moisture in. But there's a bad mulching way, and then there's a good mulching way. And the bad mulching way is what's called volcano mulch, which basically whoever applies the mulch kind of just puts it right up to the tree, and then
up the trunk about 2 foot, and then
It
what
looks like a volcano.
looks like a volcano. And what is occurring is that bark is not, trees don't want dirt on their bark. That's why the roots are underground and the bark's above the ground. But you put that mulch up against that bark and up the trunk, you're causing mold, mildew, rot issues. You're causing roots to start growing in places roots should not be growing, and they will begin to choke out the feet or the main roots because they're going to get wrapped around, cause a whole lot of problems. And this is not just homeowners that don't understand how to mulch. These we have seen, and others have seen, very large companies that do this for a living, volcanic mulching trees in business parks, in city parks. And when you go up to them, oh, we know what we're doing. They're killing trees.
It happens a lot, especially in business parks, because they hire landscaping services that are just applying the mulch, but the landscaping services don't, they hire somebody who can do the job, but they're not a necessarily garden professional or somebody who was
get the job, do the job, move to the next job,
Right.
fast.
Right. They have those accounts that they have to fulfill. So you see this a lot in business parks. Most city city workers themselves are educated not to do the volcano mulch, and because they want those trees to.
If you
to
kind of
last a
know
long
what we're
time.
talking about, but not sure, go to your search engine and type in volcanic mulching on trees, and you'll have plenty of images, and then you'll be like, oh yeah, I've seen that. That's
Right.
not good.
Yeah. So you want to avoid that for sure. And I just want to touch briefly, and you had mentioned this, Joey, when we were talking about the trimming. There's that three cut branch removal.
Yeah, if you're going to cut a large limb, and I'm talking something that's an inch diameter or larger, there is a specific proper way in order to trim a large limb so it doesn't snap and rip the bark down the side of the tree. There's a way of doing this. And how would we best describe this? It's a 3-point cut.
So the purpose of it is you're going to cut it so that you're cutting the bulk of the limb off.
The
and
weight
then
will be removed.
The weight, the weight. And then you're fine tuning it. So you're going to take and you're going to cut a notch.
1 foot away from
about a foot away, yeah. Yep. You're going to cut a notch below the limb. So you're not going to cut the limb off completely at that point, but you're going to cut the notch off. And sometimes
you're going to cut a notch into the lower of the bottom portion of the limb in which you're removing, 1 foot out from the trunk, halfway through that limb.
Now, if the limb is heavy enough, it might just snap off.
Right.
But that's why you do this method, so that you are not going to allow the limb to rip the bark off the tree. So if the limb snaps off, then you don't have to worry about step 2. But if it does not, then at step 2, what you'll do is you will cut a few inches out from that notch, and you'll just cut it straight off.
And then that should allow you to have about a 1 foot chunk of tree, of limb left attached to the tree. And then you want to take and go about 1 to 2 inches from the trunk and cut the remaining portion of that limb in which you're removing off. You don't want to go flush against the trunk because you're going to cause damage. It will heal over. It will scab over and cover that over. You can also use Ivy Organics tree paint for that. Use coupon code radio10 at checkout. Save 10% on your order at ivyorganics.com. And that will help protect the tree from insect damage if that is a concern to you. But this is the proper way in which it's called a 3-cut tree branch removal. If you want a visual, you can search that, and that will show exactly how to do it.
So then our final tip is to remove any weeds and excess debris around the base of the tree. So this is something you would typically do before you mulch, but
weeds come through mulch.
Right.
This is not a you got mulch on it. Well, not a problem in the world. You want to avoid probably weed. I would avoid weed barrier or weed cloth of any sort. Just utilize the mulch.
So you want to but before you mulch, either way, you want to remove any weeds. And if the mulch is, sad looking and there's not much there,
replace.
You can remove that too and then replace. But if you're going to remove any sad looking mulch, might as well remove the weeds, because a lot of that ground ivy, grasses, they can just create extra waste around the base of the tree, and then this can cause things like mold, fungus, etc., which could then affect the tree. So you want to remove that wasty weedy growth.
Right, and if you want something all natural, it's a horticultural grade vinegar. You can get it at natgreenproducts.com. Use promo code WEEDS, and you can get 3 gallons. If you buy 3 gallons, you get the 4th gallon free at natgreenproducts.com. And that's WEEDS at checkout if you're wanting to get bulk up and get ready to go for spring and use a horticultural grade vinegar and not a glyphosate. That's the way to go. Another way to go, Holly, is getting prepared and properly dealing with those Japanese beetles that are going to be in our yards and around our gardens this summer. If we can get them now, that's the best thing.
Yeah, so with spring just around the corner, it's time to start thinking about controlling those beetles and grubs in your yard, Japanese beetles, etc. You know, they are up here in the Midwest, where we are.
They're everywhere.
And they're everywhere at this point now. So you want to think about those.
Grub Gone can be used to apply to turf or garden or around ornamentals. Everywhere you can use it. Controls grubs and lessens the impact of beetles that will be had on your yard this summer. Easy to use. Apply with a commercial spreader or irrigate right into the soil. Biologically specific to target grubs and beetle invaders. Biologically targeted. That's the key word here, because they have created a formula in which it's going to tackle and kill the beetles and grubs and not harm your beneficial insects like your bees, your butterflies, and your ladybugs.
Yeah, and so you can use that's the only non-chemical that works. You can find out more at phyllombioproducts.com. That's PHYLLOM bioproducts.com. If you use code GardenTalk10, you save 10% off your orders at phyllombioproducts.com.
Hey there, gardeners. Thanks for checking out this segment of the Gardening with Joey and Holly radio show. If you like what you've seen, you can search through the channel and find full in-studio videos of the entire show. If you want to go another route, you can search for it on your favorite podcast platform by searching the Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener radio show or the Gardening with Joey and Holly radio show, and you can download it and take it with you. You can check out all past seasons at our website, thewisconsinvegetablegardener.com, under the radio tabs at the top of the page. We thank you for joining us. We hope you've learned and enjoyed the show, the segment, and we'll see you next time.